I'm super excited to announce the brand new video series of the mental game of reefing. What is it? It's a free video series that contains techniques and strategies for being successful with reef tanks, marine fish, corals and much more. In this video series, we're going to look at reefing from a completely different angle. Most people are aware that if you want to become a world-class or even an expert in a particular matter, you've got to get a grip of your mental game. Olympic sports coaches know that this accounts for a big part of the success of their athletes. They know to compete at the highest level, you've got to develop your mental game. We're going to be taking a deep dive into the psychology of the success of reefing. We're going to be looking at time-tested and proven techniques that you can put into action today. You're going to be able to significantly reduce the amount of mistakes that you make, and if you do make them, you're going to be able to recover from them much quicker. In other words, you're going to take your reefing to a completely different level. I'm going to be releasing monthly updates, so if you do like these videos in this series, don't forget to like and comment and hit the bell so you know when I release my next video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is how people get these results. So just because two people get exactly the same results doesn't mean they get them the same way. Here you can see there's two types of people. Type A, who are highly competitive, achievement orientated, time conscious, have difficulty relaxing, often multitask and are very deadline driven, so aka always busy. And then type B. These traits are patient, relaxed, easygoing, very sociable, procrastinator and quite reflective. So here you can see two totally different types of people. Both seem to be just as successful as each other, but we need to look at why that is and how can that even be possible. When people talk about personality type A and personality type B types of people, lots of people make the mistake of considering personality type A people to have better time management skills. They're always busy and they seem to get lots done, but there's lots of different aspects of time management, and getting lots done and making the maximum use of your time is only one part of it. And there's other parts of these, and the type A people seem to miss this. Type A personalities are typically competitive and ambitious, and because of this, these people are often always in a rush, and they're also willing to sacrifice things in the pursuit of things like better growth in their corals or better coloration or whatever your goal is in your reefing advancement. And the logic may seem correct until you stop and look around, and then it's easy to see that these type A personality people are no further in front than the type B personality trait people. Even though the type A's are willing to sacrifice much more and do more work and spend more hours doing a particular task, they're in exactly the same position as the type A personality traits, as those with type A personality traits. And we're going to look at why this happens. In fact, I have two friends who are pretty much the exact extreme ends of the scales of these two personality traits. One is always busy, rushing around, super serious, multitasking, always in a rush to get things done, always working to a deadline, never got time to do anything else. And the other one is super laid back, super chilled out, difficult to get going with anything, yet they both have exactly the same job. Both are just as successful as each other. Why is this? Now, that's not to say that either one is right or wrong, or one is better than the other. At this stage, what we're trying to do is raise our awareness of how it is we're achieving these results. And it isn't just as black and white as you're either type A or type B. Often, people will flip between being a type A personality trait when they're doing a particular task or they're taking a project on, and then they'll become a type B, they'll display those type B personality traits doing something else. Or perhaps you're just some of one or some of the other. But I'm sure if you're like me, I'm sure you know people that sit on the extremes ends of the scale in these traits. And this is the key thing here. To take advantage of this, you need to know how you're achieving results and when, because some traits of trait A and some traits of trait B are desirable to have in certain situations. So for example, if I'm moving my tank, if I was moving house and I'm moving my tank, I definitely want to be in the type A personality trait category, because things are going to be fast paced, there's going to be a lot to do, there's going to be a lot to get done, and any delays on anything potentially are going to be harmful to my corals or my fish. So that would be beneficial with the type A personality traits. However, once the tank's set up and the tank's stable and it doesn't need a lot of work doing on it, the actual type A personality traits of getting things done a lot and keep continuously doing things can actually cause instability in the tank, and you don't want that. And that's where you want to flip between, you want to flip to the personality type B traits and be more laid back and have a more patient and laid back approach to how you maintain your reef tank. Okay, another way of looking at this is to imagine the seasons. Think about the seasons. You wouldn't do the things you do in the summer that you do in the winter, because A, there's not the opportunity to capitalise on the time and the effort that you're putting into the activity. So for example, in the summer, back in the olden days, we would want to be growing our crops and then harvest them and going through all the activity and the work that is with sowing the seeds, harvesting the fruit. However, in the winter, when it's miserable outside, there's not much food around, you don't want to be doing those activities. You want to have done all of those in the summer, and you want to take a different approach. And this is very similar in that respect. In the summer, it's sunny outside, it's nice to be outside, it's easy to motivate yourself, and there's more abundance of food available. In the winter, it's cold and miserable. You don't want to be out in the winter just spending lots of time, lots of energy being miserable in the cold, just have a little amount of food at the end of the day. And another observation worth taking note of is type A personality traits, when they default to that over the long term, they have less buffers in place. So someone that can, say for example, maintain a reef tank and be, you know, have those type B personality traits, they have quite a lot of space to step up should something go wrong or they need to do more for any reason. Whereas type A's, they've already filled all their time up, so they have very little time spare. So if something does go wrong, they've either got to draft in someone else to give them a hand, or they've got to really disrupt their whole life because everything's packed together so tightly. There's very little buffer zone in place for type A personality traits to make adjustments to what they're doing in their day-to-day operations, and that is something to be aware of because it can make a big difference between success and failure over the long term. There's lots of different types of mixtures of different people from the type A and type B personality traits, and I bet if you're like me, you can think of some of your friends or some people you know that sit at the extreme ends of the scale of the different personality traits. Or perhaps you notice some of these traits in yourself. Do you struggle to relax because you're always multitasking? Are you time conscious? Is there always something going on in your mind that you can't let go? Drop me a comment in the box below and let me know which attribute is most noticeable in you. Studies in personality traits have been carried out over decades, and although there's no right or wrong way to be, I think everyone would universally agree that if you can get exactly the same results but be sociable and laid back, then that's going to be a better way to go, and it benefits more than just your reef tank. In fact, research has shown that more than twice as many type A people as type B people have developed coronary heart disease. For example, 8 years later, 257 of participants in this study had developed coronary heart disease. By the end of the study, 70% of men who had developed coronary heart disease were type A personality traits. And let's face it, an early death is not going to be great for your reef tank. This video is all about raising self-awareness of how we achieve those results and some of the negative impacts that they can have on you. In the up and coming videos in this series, we're going to talk about some better strategies and techniques that you can use to up your reefing mental game. If you've got through the videos so far, you're definitely going to like the up and coming videos. So don't forget to like and comment on this video and subscribe and hit the bell for future notifications of when I release the next video in the series. Coming up next in this mental game of reefing video series is taking a look at one of the main reasons that people fail and then leave the reefing hobby, and also making sure that the effort you're putting is actually making a difference. I'm Mark Russell, signing off. Keep reefing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.